Hi guys, today we're going to start our watercolor balloon primary and secondary color painting. And the first thing we want to do is we want to create a stencil. So we're going to get a piece of photocopy paper and you are going to fold it in half vertically, like a hot dog bun. And you're going to keep it folded, and on the fold you are going to draw half of a balloon shape. Something like this. And then you're going to cut that out like so. And when I am done cutting this out and open up my stencil, I'll have a nice symmetrical balloon shape to trace in an overlapping way on my watercolor paper. Now I'm going to take my stencil and put it aside. And I'm going to take my masking tape. You guys will have a couple rolls of masking tape at every table. And you are going to do a tape border around your watercolor paper. This is just for aesthetics. It just looks nice when you do this with a watercolor painting. So I'm just going to eyeball my measurements. And I'm going to take the tape. And I'm not going to curl it under. I'll trim this when I'm done taping my border. So I have get all four sides done. I'm using blue painter's tape because it's easier to see on video, but you guys will just be using thin masking tape. It's a little bit thinner than the stuff I'm using now. And one more side and I will be ready for the next step. All right, so now that I have my tape border on my watercolor paper, I'm going to take my scissors and just trim off those extra little pieces so that my painting doesn't get stuck to everything in my portfolio or on the drying rack. You don't want to curl it under just because you're going to keep the tape on for a few days while you work on this project, and you don't want it to get too stuck to the back and then rip up your artwork. So I always trim it like so. And now I am ready to take the stencil that I just created in one of my pencils and create my composition. So I'm going to start towards the top, and if you notice, I'm going to crop out some of the balloons. So I'm going to start on the top and nice and neat with my pencil, not too dark, because I don't want a lot of pencil lines in my painting. I am going to trace over my balloon. And I'm going to do one down here. Now this one I'm going to let overlap just a little bit with that balloon. Oops. And the nice thing about the stencils that you created is it kind of gives you nice neat balloons throughout instead of, and so you don't get too messy. And now this one I'm going to have maybe just a little bit of balloon coming off the edge. Down here I'll have almost a whole balloon, and this just makes it more interesting. You don't want all the balloons floating in the middle. You want it to look like you took a picture and some of it is being cropped off the edges. All right, so I think I'm going to do one more down here with a little bit of overlapping happening. All right, and actually at the top, what I think I'll do is do just a little bit of the bottom of the balloon. So now I have my balloons drawn out in pencil, and I have a little bit of overlapping. I think I have overlapping in two spots, but I didn't go crazy so that it stays neat, okay? So I have 6 balloons, and which is what I want, because we're going to be painting with primary and secondary color, and that's 6 colors. So now I'm going to label. So I think I'm going to have my red balloon be here, and then I'm going to map out my primary colors first. So I'm going to do red. I think I'm going to do yellow, and I think I'm going to do blue. And notice that I don't have my blue, red, and yellow overlapping. I have them so they're kind of far from, not touching one another. Over here, I am going to do my secondary colors for these balloons. So I think here I'm going to have I don't want to do green, because when I paint there will be some overlapping of colors, and green and red would make brown, so I don't think that's a good choice. But I think orange would be a good choice. So I'm gonna do orange here, because when I overlap my red and my orange paint, I'll just get like a nice red orange, and that'll look nice. And down here, I gotta think of one of my secondary colors that will go well with my yellow. So I'm gonna do green. And again, when I do paint with my overlapping section here, green and yellow, they'll blend nicely and give me like a lime green. And last but not least, I have purple. So my purple will be here. So just to remember, our primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. And our secondary colors are orange, purple, and green. Now that I have everything labeled very lightly because I will be erasing it, I'll be ready to paint for tomorrow. All right, have fun.